You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
Good morning. This is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach. I am just left church this morning. Well, in the process of leaving right now. Had to refill my spiritual vat so that I have something to pour out during the week. And what's going on, Thomas? What's going on, Brandon? I get a lot of calls during the week, and I even got an email today, and pardon the rain, about is judo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or karate, or are these, which of these arts, out of all the arts around, which are the best for self-defense? And let me pause here parenthetically to ask you, please forward this to your page or some people around, because this particular message everybody needs to get. When you really look at it, all right, at the end of the day, and I tell everybody this, the number one self-defense exercise that you need to invoke and employ in your life they put you in a situation that there's no amount of self-defense training that's going to help you. If you can't walk up a flight of steps, if you cannot run a lap on a track, if you gotta, rock back and push your hands off your knees in order to get up from a couch, you need not worry about self-defense. I mean, it's impossible for you to defend yourself. At its core, any level of quality physical activity and quality health and wellness practices are going to fall under the beginning progressions of self-defense. There are not too many of you who can run and grab an offensive lineman off of the New England Patriots and take his wallet out of his pocket in his face and then run off or take something from him. It's just not going to happen, because that person is in great shape and can defend themselves. More often than not, the people that we get in our dojo or the people who come into our facilities, they are not in great shape. There's no sense in teaching a palm strike or elbow strike there's no sense in teaching any of that. If you look at the animal kingdom on the basic level, the lion does not see the antelope or the zebra and pick out the strongest one in the bunch. They do not. They pick out the weakest one, and then from that, what's going on, Sensei Neil Adams? And then from that, they make their decision on which of the weaker ones they want to attack. So when people come for self-defense, I don't care if it's for judo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or karate, as instructors, it's our first job not to teach falls or not to teach. It's our first job to speak to the students and our clients about personal empowerment first. Personal empowerment, personal responsibility, self-love. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, do you love yourself? Yes. Do you love your child? Yes. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, if you love your child, signing your child up in this program is going to be absolutely fantastic. But Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, I need you to do something as well. If you love little Johnny, I need more vegetables and more fruits, and I need you all to be the leader inside of your home in terms of personal empowerment from a health and wellness standpoint. Because it doesn't matter what I teach little Johnny if he cannot do the work. And you are the best examples in the house that little Johnny had. That is the first line of self-defense. People are, what's the best exercise? The best exercises are you paying attention to your knife and your fork curls and your spoon curls. That is the best. It's absolutely the best. I'm telling you right now, and I'm gonna say it in such a respectful way. In the sport that I'm in, we have a international governing body, okay? And in that international governing body, they have meetings, and we have an individual who's on the mat, and he cannot move well, nor can he demonstrate techniques, and the community does not give the feedback to this individual nor the board on an international level because most people are scared to give them the feedback. But the honest to goodness truth is you need to have a better representation in that space who can move better on the mat, doing the moves and demonstrating the techniques, because it just looks bad. It looks like if these are the exemplars of the sport and these people are actually teaching at its core, judo is still a self-defense modality that we soften in order to play war games or sport. We need better representation for that. Because at the highest level, we have people who cannot move, who cannot function. So when you ask me what I need for self-defense, what you need for self-defense, you need health and wellness. This may have not been an issue in 1945. It may not have been an issue in 1950. But as we look at the global increase of obesity, the global increase of diabetes, the global increase of people with extreme BMIs, myself included, okay? Because, man, I fought judo at 100 kilos, which is 220 pounds, and now I walk around at 240 pounds, and I'm only 5'8". Yeah, do I need to lose some more weight? Yes. Do I need to pay attention to my knife and fork curls better than I do? Yes. As I'm older, do I need to do different things in terms of my eating habits so that I continue to move well? Yes. So that I can continue to defend myself? Yes. Do I see my ability to defend myself decreasing as I get older based upon, in correlation with the things that I'm eating? Yes. I need to personally make better choices as well. The food's changed. Things have changed. Getting people in your gym and trying to teach them a jab and a cross and a hook and all these other things. Man, the people move their arms, their heart rate goes up, their hands are on their knees. That you're not teaching that person self-defense. That's not what that person needs. That is one of the elements to complement some of the things that they need, but that's not what they need. They need some personal empowerment. They need to think differently about themselves. That is the part that's missing on the instructional piece in martial arts today. Martial arts they've changed. Man, they've changed. The martial arts have changed. People come into my dojo, they say, well, the referee yesterday at a tournament says, well, man, how do your kids get so, how are your kids so energetic and enthused when they're on the mat? I mean, they fight, they're so tenacious. What do you do? I said, well, I removed all the break falls for the first 6-7 months of training. He said, don't tell me that. I said, yes, of course. I said, there's 4 pillars of human movement. There's push-pull, there's locomotion, there's rotation, and there's level change. There's almost zero locomotion in judo. There's a little bit, the level change is gone. There's only push-pull and rotation. I grab dummies. I let the kids throw the dummies over and over and over again. Is the technique perfect? No, I'm not concerned because they need to move more. And there's no Olympic champions at 6, 7, 8, and 9 years old. They need to move, throw, rotate, move, throw, rotate. And they fall on the ground and they get up just fine. Babies fall on the ground, 6-year-olds fall on the ground, wrestlers fall on the ground, football players fall on the ground, and none of them learn how to fall, and they're okay. Do I teach falls later? Yes. When somebody comes in my dojo, I need them moving in a safe fashion. They fall, they roll on top of the dummy, they don't fall on the mat. I'm not jarring the body, I'm not causing any micro concussions, I'm not doing any micro abuse on the joints. I'm teaching it differently. They feel good. They throw a 35-pound dummy, then a 50-pound dummy, then a 70-pound dummy, then a 90-pound dummy. Then they are personally empowered. They feel stronger. They can see the growth. And now they are interested in self-defense. And now they want to get in the program. This is how you teach judo. You could take your ogoshi, your seoinage, your jujigatame, and all of it, and you can put it in the garbage. It really doesn't matter at the beginning levels. It doesn't matter. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things? Yes, it does. You want to teach and propagate the art all over the world. You want to do that. But at the end of the day, if nobody's coming in your dojo and nobody wants to learn from you because they don't feel empowered, they're not coming. It's the mental fitness in conjunction with the physical fitness that should be taught. That is not what we're teaching. We're so concerned. Let's go back. Let's even use boxing and Muay Thai. And when the person comes to the dojo, what are you teaching? You're sitting there talking about you need headgear, you need pads, you need this, you need that, you need it. Listen, those people need to do a 30-minute walk around the block first. That's why I have a buy-in in my facility. I have a buy-in that starts with a walk, run, push-ups, sit-ups. Not a lot. 2 sets of 5, 2 sets of 10, 3 sets of 3, 3 sets of... Why? Because these people need to move. They need to do the pre-work so they can actually work. It is 2019, and all martial arts instructors are not looking at the population that is coming inside of their dojo. The population of your dojo has changed. You don't have the same input. You want to create. You want to keep the system the same, and the input has changed. Case in point, I had a conversation with a client the other night. I'll leave names out in my sport. One of the best technicians that I know in the sport, in my sport, all right, in the United States, hasn't changed. I'm not saying the general, hasn't changed the model. The model has to change because the judo as it is now requires more power. So because the time has been reduced from 5 minutes to 4 minutes, the model has to change. You can't do sub-maximal training all the time and not do super maximal training when the match is only 4 minutes. But the system that the person has is the same. You can't hope that your technique will be able to rear its head in a 4-minute match when somebody can smother you like gravy with power. Yes, the Georgians and the Ukrainians can smother you with power and your technique will never come out. I watched it at the Junior Worlds with the Japanese team. You can be as technical as you want to be. If you're a 6-year-old technician, you're a 6-year-old, and a 50-year-old man grabs you who doesn't know anything, he's going to kill you. Your technique doesn't mean anything. Your power means something. Things have changed. All systems have to change when the input variables change. Dr. Gary Berliner is on here. Dr. Gary Berliner will tell you medicine has changed. Medicine has changed because the people who come in to be treated, they've changed. They're not the same. Dr. Ingram is on here. He'll tell you psychology has changed. Are the conceptual frameworks the same? Yes, a lot of the conceptual frameworks are the same, but the way we teach them and the way we teach people has changed. He's mentored me to change the way that I teach judo. It has to change. Coach Sean Knox is on here. Coach Sean Knox knows football the way that we learned it, it's changed. No, the kids aren't softer. No, I'm not going to say the kids are softer. The children are different. The game is different. The game is not the same game. It's called football, but the football that my dad played and the football that I played and the football that Coach Sean Knox coaches, they're all different. Different. the question is not if you can teach or if you can coach. The question is, pardon the camera for moving. The question is, can you make the adaptations to serve the population? When it comes to self-defense, man, it's great to get people in a classroom on a weekend or on a Saturday because you want to do a free self-defense course for women and to teach them palm strike and the knee to the groin and all that foolishness. But I'm telling you right now, here's what you got to understand. Like I said before, in the animal kingdom, once the lion has chosen the prey, okay, the lion has chosen the prey. Out of all the people it could pick, out of all the antelope it could pick, it picked the smallest one, or the one that can't move well, or the one that's gonna put up the least amount of fight. That's it. Once that determination is made, your knee strike to the groin or your gouge to the eye is not going to stop that particular predator from doing what it is that they do. Not going to stop it at all. It's not going to happen. What you have to be committed to is making sure that you don't look like the type of person that looks like prey. Or you could be small. All right, you can be small, you can be tiny, you can be 240. It doesn't matter how big or how small you are. How you handle yourself, your personal deportment, okay? How you carry yourself and your presence allows people to know if you are to be messed with or not. It didn't have nothing to do with a move. When you walk into a room, people know if that's the type of person that I want to mess around with or not. And that's what you need to be able to teach. And that's not in a curriculum. And that's not in a book. That's not in there. Not in the book. Not in the book in terms of a martial arts book. Is it in books? Yes. There's a book called, I'll give you one book. There's a book called The Charisma Myth. Okay? That kind of teaches you how to attract people towards you and not repel them, or repel them if you like in certain situations. I'm going to tell you another thing that's the most important, another most important thing that you need to learn in terms of self-defense. And this is a golden nugget for anybody. Do you know the difference between predators and prey on a physical level? The difference between predators and prey. Just think about it for a moment. And I'm going to give you the answer. It's the placement of the eyes. The eyes of the predators are in the front. The eyes of the prey are on the side. Because the prey need to be able to look around 180 degrees and swivel their head at 360. Predators are not concerned about a 360 degree panoramic view, because predators are locked on your behind. That is all that they are concerned about. The predator's eyes are in the front, prey's eyes are on the side. Which means when you look at a football game, or you look at a boxing match, or you look at people who weigh in for MMA fights, the predators look directly into the eyes of the other person. The prey will look off. Now, whether you believe you're a predator or prey or whatever you think, it don't matter. You will always be in situations where you feel like you're prey or you feel like you're the predator. And the placement of your eyes will make the determination of that particular situation. If you look at children, because bullying is not a new phenomenon. The increase of bullying, okay, it's not even a new phenomenon, okay? What has happened is more people are not used to personal and social interaction. They're not used to looking somebody in the eyes. People start believing this talk of what's called hyper-masculinity. Listen, this is how men look at each other when they talk. You can believe it or you cannot believe it. I've been a man for 43 years, and I'm telling you that if you can't teach your students how to do this, or your children how to look another person in the eye and speak with them and understand that it's not aggressive behavior, but it's how people communicate when they are intent on getting their message across and intent on listening to you and letting you know that they are not going to be put in the position of prey, that you're not teaching what your people need. You're not teaching what your children need. Because let me tell you something. One of the most crucial self-defense mechanisms that you can teach is teaching your student how to look somebody in the eye when they shake their hand, not looking down at no phone. I have a rule in my dojo. I don't care if you are in my school or if you're not in my school. There are no children who can be in my practice, in my facility, on a device. iPad, iPhone, Kindle, tablet. Oh, I'm just reading bring a book. Not happening. The children on the side but interact with the parents. The parents interact with the children, because people need the reps of looking people in the face, saying good morning, good evening, how are you? My name is, what is your name? It's nice to speak to you. Glad to meet you. Have a great evening. Have a good day. Those are personal skills for personal empowerment and personal wellness. People don't even understand that those are also spiritual reps. There's a reason why the Bible talks about where two or more are gathered. It's not just where they are gathered, but they have to not have their backs turned to each other, but they have to be gathered and be in spiritual tandem with each other. That does not happen without personal connection. You can be in a room with a bunch of people and have zero personal connection, and nobody in the room is empowered. There's no empowerment without the personal connection, which actually falls under the umbrella of spiritual connection. But I can't have that and I can't create that without communication. And under the umbrella of communication, you have verbal and you have nonverbal communication. And when I communicate with you on a verbal level, I can communicate with you auditorily, but then I'm also having nonverbal communication with the way that I look at you. I can look at you and let you know I'm believing what you say. I can look at you and let you know that you're full of mess. I can look at you and let you know that I love you. I can look at you and let you know that I care for you. I can look at you and let you know I refuse to be prey in this situation. Reminds me of a poem that I learned back in 1993, and I'm not going to recite the whole thing, but because some people need to hear it and go find it on their own. The line is, when you are up against a trouble, meet it squarely, face to face. See, these people are so used to looking off, not looking these people in the face. They're used to. Let me tell you what a bad self-defense rep. A bad self-defense rep is when you believe. Now I could get into it now because I'm pulling up to the house. A bad self-defense rep, when you believe you could talk trash to people over the phone, through text and voice notes, when you know good and well, if the person who was in front of you was looking at you, you wouldn't say the same thing. You, my dear friend, you're not a chump, you're not soft, you're not any of those things. You just haven't been well trained. It's okay to have passive-aggressive behavior. Passive-aggressiveness is a thing too. I'm not here to talk bad about anybody. I'm here to empower those who want to be empowered and to help those who are in the personal empowerment space to have the tools in their tool belt necessary to do the job that needs to be done. People come to you for self-defense. Your children come to you for self-defense. Self-defense starts with the knife and fork curls. Self-defense starts with the personal communication. Self-defense starts with understanding the difference between predators and prey, and how to have predator type characteristics, not predator behaviors. Not predatory behaviors, but predatory characteristics, and not prey characteristics, so you don't look like somebody that somebody's trying to pounce upon. I had a rough conversation in the dojo the other day, but it was a real conversation. Now, I'm telling you right now, the thing that I'm getting ready to talk about is not, there's nothing crass about it. It's a PG issue. It's not bad. There's no cursing that I'm gonna go about it, but it was a real issue. I had to talk to my parents about their daughters, and I said, listen, my job in this space, and it's hard, and I told them it's hard to say this. I said, my job is to make your daughter rape proof, if it is such a thing. And my job is to teach your sons about rape culture under the umbrella of martial arts without using the word rape at all in practice. And the reason why, because I had to tell one of my parents, we were doing a drill where there's no out of bounds. Like the kids went on the floor, they just went on the floor and there was no out of bounds. And the mom stopped the whole behavior. And I had to talk with the other parents, and I said, she stopped the match. And I said, don't do that, because if something happens to any person in here, nobody's gonna say, hey man, let me lie you down on the grass over here. You have to be willing to fight where you are for what you believe in. You have to love and cherish yourself so much and be personally empowered so much that you be willing to die for that which you have. And it's rough. And I was having a conversation when the mom was tearing up. I said, man, I don't do this job lightly. I do it because I have children in this program too. I want somebody to look at my little Rhadi and be like, nah, I'll choose somebody else. Yes, I want her to be able to line up as she does now, and I want her to be able to beat the boys and the girls. I want my son to be able to beat people who are bigger than him and have compassion for those who are smaller than he is. I want to teach because all those things fall under the umbrella of self-defense. I just think that we're lacking on what self-defense is. Self-defense is not a palm strike or groin strike or a jab or a hook. And let me tell you this, ladies, please understand this. Please understand, all right? Men and women are not the same, all right? Let's get this out of the way. Well, I believe it. Okay, yeah, got it. Not true, all right? That's why there's different categories, different weight classes, and I tell people all the time, more often than not, you have never seen a man who is really trying to hurt a woman hurt her. It's like if you look at a grizzly bear, when they grab a human being and it just goes, that is what it looks like, okay? That is exactly what it looks like. You can create yourself or push yourself into a space that you can start chipping away at the population of men who can handle you or beat you. You can through training. I'm telling you right now, outside of being able to hit some of the heavier women in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and knock them out if I could, there's no way I can beat some of them. I cannot. They're in a special population. They have done the training 15, 20, 25 years in sports, some of them in judo, to the point where I cannot beat them. I even use somebody as an example. Let's use double Olympic gold medalist Kayla Harrison. Can I beat Kayla Harrison? Yeah. Would I want to fight Kayla Harrison? No. It's not worth the trouble. Like the way that I would look after fighting Kayla Harrison would not be worth the trouble. Unless I hit her with one hitter quitter It's not worth the trouble. Now, the question is, to my parents who are watching, who have daughters, do you want to train your daughter to be like that? Or do you want to put them in dance and gymnastics and those other things? Those things aren't bad either. But you can do that and the martial arts. What I'm telling you is you have an option or opportunity to put your kids in a space or a place where they can chip away at the population of men who can actually do any type of damage to them through proper training. I'm telling you. So they don't look like that antelope in the herd. Men too. You listen, man, you have sons that you know need to be in the martial arts. I've had people come to me and say, "Oh, my kid's getting bullied." And I ask the question. And people don't want to ask this. Some people get too politically correct, all right? And I don't walk around trying to be politically incorrect or politically insensitive. But when you sit down in my dojo, in my space, we need to have a real conversation. And I ask the parents, would you walk up to me and would you slap me? And they say no, and I say why? And they have this laundry list of reasons. And I said, now let's look at the inverse of this. What is creating a situation where these children in this school feel that they can walk up to your son and slap your son? I said, because there's some kids in the school that they're not going to slap. No matter how big, how small, how little, they're just not going to do it at all. So what makes these children feel like they can just slap your son? And they saw, well, the kids are mean. No. Let's go back to this whole thing again. Would you walk in here and would you slap me in the face? Yes or no? No. Why? They have the laundry list of reasons. Let's look at the inverse. Don't tell me your kid is getting bullied. Answer the question. Why do these children feel like they can slap your child in the face? And they start thinking about it. And I say, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, let's understand this here. Whatever's happening to your child is not your fault. It's not little Johnny's fault. I said, but it is your responsibility. I said, and there's a lot of ways you could fix it. You can go to the principal. You can tell little Johnny that the children are mean. You could bring them in here to martial arts. You could do all those things. Or you can work right now on creating a situation where your little Johnny doesn't look like prey. And no, listen, I got it. When my child's 8, 9, I've had homosexuals in my dojo, no problem. I also had a student who I had to help her come out to her father. Yes, because that's the stuff we do in this space when you teach martial arts, okay? I had a student tell me, well, my son's, I think my son's homosexual, so they're picking on my son because my son is homosexual. Listen, I have plenty homosexual friends. I have plenty that I went to school at Howard, and I played football with some of them. And I'm telling you right now, I would not have picked on them, and nobody on campus did either. All right? Because let me tell you something. Let me be clear about this. Everybody's presentation, okay? Everybody's presentation lets you know if they are a predator or if they are a prey. And their sexual orientation has nothing to do with how they present. The key is making sure that you present so that you don't look like prey. This lesson is the lesson that needs to be taught on the self-defense side. Before you teach anything, a fall, a throw, a choke, a strike, anything. The personal empowerment side. I have to go today because I have to go in my house and I have to get some things done. As I said this morning, at the beginning, I went to church this morning because there's some There's a spiritual empowerment piece that has to be attended to. There's a physical empowerment piece that has to be attended to from the spiritual side. There's a cognitive empowerment piece that has to be attended to from what you watch, what you read, that what you take in. And you have to learn how to empower yourself and how to empower others. Listen, to everybody who's watching, please share if it's something that you would be interested in sharing. And please take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Don't do ordinary stuff, man, and expect extraordinary stuff to happen. Don't do ordinary stuff and expect extraordinary stuff to happen. Take care, and I love you. But remember, God loves you best.